Welcome to the Business Central launch event 2025 Release Wave 1. We are thrilled that so many partners and customers are joining us online today, over 4,000 actually. Thank you for taking the time and being with us. We have an enormous amount of content to show you. You might have been wondering about the cheering in the room. Today we're broadcasting from Microsoft Development Center in Denmark, and with us in the room are many of the Business Central speakers and our colleagues. You might also see... Thank you. You might also see that some of our colleagues will have their computers open, and that is because you online have an option to ask questions in the Q&A tab. Please do so. We are here in the room ready to answer your questions. Hot off the press, it's less than an hour ago that we actually shipped Business Central 2025 Release Wave 1. And here we are ready to show you more. Maya, you have been in the studio with many of the speakers that we have in the room today.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit, what's new this time?
Yeah, so in the last release, we changed the format to be even shorter and easier to navigate by adding chapters. We have gotten so much positive feedback this time around and more views on our videos, so we actually decided to keep it. But we still wanted to make it even better. So this time around, we have actually split some of the sessions that would have previously been one longer one into different features to make it easier for you guys also later on to find it again. So for instance, for sustainability, we have value chain automation, which we've now divided into transfer, process, and assembly automation orders. Maybe. No, I'm kidding. Yes, but we won't not miss any information. We want you to have the full overview, so we've added links to all the different videos underneath each one to make it easy for you guys to find everything. So this time around, we actually have 60 plus videos bite-sized for you guys at home. And we have an amount of 10 hours that you guys can use to learn what's new in Business Central. And they're designed to help you with your pitches, stay updated, but also be at your best.
And talk to customers.
And talk to customers. So yeah, they'll be live after this live opening, so we hope you'll go and watch them all.
Woo! Woo! Thank you. We hope you're excited, and you can find them all on YouTube. You see them all here listed on the slide. But what's more, once you've watched the sessions, do join us in a few weeks, end of April. We will have a number of online office hours where you can come and ask your questions to all our subject matter experts and speakers. You can also actually submit your questions in beforehand, or you can just come and ask your questions in the sessions. Then you might wonder, where do I get all of that information? There is a couple of ways. Watch out for the email that you will receive after this session. There will be more information. But you can always go to our LinkedIn page and find more information about the latest news for Business Central. And we will also have information on these Q&A sessions. Now, we don't want to keep you any longer. Let's have Dimitri and Yannick on the stage to tell about the highlights.
Hello, everybody. I am Yannick Bauser.
And my name is Dmitry Chedaev.
And it's so great to see all you partners out there sitting and watching this and spending actually an hour with us. But of course also our dear colleagues, that actually is the reason we are standing here, because you have been building great products yet again. So thank you for that.
Thank you for that. And we did ship it, didn't we, just now? Christina, what's the latest? Oh, thank God.
Great.
Thank God. No, please don't joke with that. We did ship it. Thank you so much. Yeah, welcome.
So maybe I should start with one of the big announcements for this release. It's very simple. It's actually a URL. Because finally we got it. We got businesscentral.com. So every time you want to go back to the page where you can read about Business Central, you can just write businesscentral.com, and it will of course be auto-directed to whatever region, country you are in. So also for you partners watching out there, it's a great way to put into material and other things when you want to just point customers to one place, or for you customers to go and find the latest information about Business Central.
Look at it right there, the signature Business Central simplicity. Nothing else to remember, businesscentral.com. How amazing is that?
Correct. So, Dimitri.
Yeah, I wanted to start with this number. So the number is very special to this release, 200. So what might it be, you might be asking yourselves. And a little less than a month ago, we shipped a brand new product capability, revolutionizing the way the sales process is done in the companies. And I bet many of you already know that we talk about the sales order agent. And that was the number of agents spun up by you, trying it out in the very early stages of preview in actual environments online. 200 agents spun up and working for you right there. So this is an incredible start, but there's just so much more to go through. So we want to show you all of the other capabilities, including the capabilities which the agent can do for you. And by the way, there's a surprise coming. It's not the only agent in the Business Central portfolio, but we also wanted to cover most of our investments, fantastic investments into so many areas of
Yeah,
business.
and we see there, we've done the AI-powered business investments, basically going through all the functionality areas of Business Central, and once again investing in those, including a lot of investments on the reporting part, and of course also Gen AI.
Yes, and we have never forgotten, we did not forget, and we have never forgotten, and we will never forget about our partners and our developers and people who need to be productive, need to bring more and more customers on board, show them the beauty of Business Central, and be very efficient. So all of our investments in development, administration, keeping the service resilient, always up, always available. This is something that you will see in just a few moments, hopefully.
And Dimitri, I'll let you talk to the next part, because we're going to hear about the
sales order agent.
Yes.
Yes, sales order agent. Thank you, Yanni. Yes. So you may have seen splashes on social media and some of the testimonials that our first customers have given us about the sales order agent. Sales order agent can help businesses drive the process of sales, so it can read literally emails, understand what's being asked, that when the customers are asking for a sales quote, it can understand which items are being asked for, it can create the quote in Business Central product, it can create multiple lines, it can match it with the right pricing and right SKUs and right information, and it can generate beautiful emails, all of that while staying within the confines of its permissions and working securely and helping your sales team, like being a solid sales team member. So all of this is now available for you to try in the public preview, and we have expanded this public preview into many, many more countries. This is so exciting to announce that the sales order agent is going to many more countries around the world. So it's going into Canada, United States, Australia, Great Britain, New Zealand. There's a lot of white space to cover, so we'll get there, but we want to start with these countries. Welcome on board, try it out, give us the feedback. This is an amazing new capability that you don't want to miss. I wanted to also mention that all the way through the private preview, we've been talking to many customers and many partners, and many of people in this team, in this very room, were working hard to implement the feedback from these discussions. So we're not just talking, we're actually applying the learnings to the product. And this was the very first capability which we added based on the private preview engagement. We know that every single business cares deeply about the topic of item availability, how to work with item availability. So we made it simple for the agent to understand and work with item availability, just like we also, at the same time, with the same capability, made it simple for the end users, for all of you customers out there, to work with this topic. So now there is a dedicated part of the experience where you can try and assess the availability of your items based on location, based on the requested delivery date, quantity, all of these things. It is made available for the end users. It is also made available for the sales order agent. So this is a fantastic combination. Another big capability which we added there, based on the requests from many of you in the private preview, we are incorporating more insights into the emails which generated by the agent. So many of you asked about, hey, we want in these emails to see availability, discounts, pricing information. Now it's all there, it's all available in a nice templates generated fully with the power of AI. And many, many more new capabilities stemming from the private preview, from the actual conversations with the customers out there, generating customers on the flight. If the agent cannot find the customer, it will create it. Using your email box just to try and test the agent and things of that nature. Ability to review the PDF. By the way, spoiler alert, you can preview PDFs now, and agent benefits from that, and obviously the rest of the customers do the same. And one other thing which I wanted to announce as well is that this is something new which is entering into the world of Business Central, is an agent billing capability while in private preview. So we are going to introduce, and we have actually already introduced, the way to bill for the agent consumption. It's a very, very simple model. It's been used by Power Platform for a few years now. The agent is going to be monetized in a consumption unit, which is called message. So generally, every time when a certain event happens, when the agent is doing the operation, creates an email or creates a quote, we'll charge you a certain number of messages. And it's very easy to get these messages as a prepaid capacity pack, or you can configure pay-as-you-go and consume these messages as you keep exploring the capabilities of the sales order agent. So there's a lot more to learn in this topic. It's a very simple model. Hopefully it's gonna pick up and be very, very clear, transparent for all of you. But like I mentioned, this was just the beginning of Business Central agentic story. So we're moving beyond the first agent already now. So other areas of Business Central cannot wait to be optimized in exactly the same way. Yannick, what do we have in stock?
That is so true. Thank you, Dimitri, for taking us through the sales order agent. So what we are announcing now is the payables agent. That is the next step in terms of the investments we are doing on the agentic framework. And actually, I'm going to take you through a short demo of that. That's probably the easiest way to explain what is it doing. So if we start here, on the role center, we can see Stan coming to the office. Somebody has switched on already the payables agent. He gets a small notification up here saying there's something to review. He has received an invoice for merchandise, and of course is going to look at that. And he's now opening, okay, there is an invoice, it's a PDF coming in. Let me go and press review here. And as we now see here, it's basically that PDF we see on the right-hand side being read with Azure Intelligence, and this is actually the invoice and all the information that was captured. Why am I showing this in full screen? Basically just to understand the complexity that now goes into having that recorded into the system. There is some logo design, there's some t-shirt in different sizes, there is even some prepaid managed storage for 12 months that is also prepaid. So that has to be recorded, of course, in a special way in Business Central. But now the payables agent has taken that information and used AI to, first of all, put the design on an allocation account, allocating between design and marketing. It has taken all the items and actually split it out by the variance there. It has also used the knowledge of something that is prepaid, and also the freights here. You can see that last line, putting that the shipping there. And the prepaid one, it has used the deferral code, in this case 12 months. So using a lot of the knowledge that you would normally have in the head of a bookkeeper accountant, that's being put in here into the system using the AI. Once the person here is done, Stan is done on this, he can then go to end of the day, or the person that has set these agents up can go and have a look at how much has actually been processed, what is the result, what is the efficiency, and see a lot of hours has been saved by using this payables agent. So that's coming in Business Central. Right now, if we talk about coming in Business Central, it's in private preview, some of the components. First of all, the e-document connector, which now supports both the PDF, but also SharePoint, OneDrive, and of course the different connectors to different e-document services. There's also a new page collecting all that. And finally, there's also the new purchase document draft, where we take whatever we read and showcase that in a full readable overview in Business Central. What's coming next? Later this year, you're gonna see a public preview of that agent being able to process these invoices, but of course also support reading from the PDF, and most importantly, having that intelligent accounting knowledge that it uses to put things in the right account, put it in the right inventory, or in the right GL accounts. That's coming end of this year. Now, talking about investments in AI, these were the agents, but of course we continued the journey on Copilot as well. And this one is, one of the really cool ones here. That's autofill fields with Copilot. Let me actually show that in full screen for you so you can see what's going on here. Here I have a customer card, and I now have to create a new customer. In this case, it is, I have to press here, it is Adventure Works. I'll put that in and I will click that little icon. You saw that there, which is the autofill icon. It takes that as a suggestion here. You can see when I do that, it fills out a field based on frequent choice. It fills out this field basically due to recently used values. And the next one, because that customer apparently is in the US, it selects North America. For the address, I also press the icon here, and then it fills out by using a web search. In this case, it's using Bing search, and I can finally go and accept it all. That's autofill. That's autofill on any card page that really enables faster entry of any data into Business Central. Yeah. Then summarize with Copilot another investment done in this release. And again, let me show you what that's about. We have a customer card here again. And as I go to this summary, it first starts when I basically wanted to expand, and then it works on finding interesting information about that customer card I've opened, or whatever card I've opened. In this case, I can also drill down and see some of the invoices it has called out, and notice also some of the comments that Copilot adds. It really gives me the possibility to learn more about the customer, and in this case also show more information. So when you have to call somebody, you can use this and get a lot of rich information preparing for any call, or it could be a vendor, it could be items, whatever. That's the summarize feature. We've done more with Copilot, but before I show you that, I want to say that we built it on the sustainability investment, so let's just cover those first. The whole sustainability module in Business Central has been expanded further. For example, it now takes care of water and waste in this release, but also the most important Scope 3 emissions, which are the emissions from your suppliers and so on. It actually can now be automated and captured in Business Central as well. But there's one thing about this sustainability tracking, and that is for anybody to actually understand what emission factors to use. Because if you're driving a small car, there's a big difference from driving a large car. So we have, of course, solved that with Copilot. So you can now suggest emissions with Copilot in this release. I'm not going to show you a video here. You will be able to see that in the BCLE videos, a full story on that. But if you could just read the fine print here, it says company car, it says something about a hotel or even a flight in this little screenshot. And we're using that information, for example, on the flight, what was the route, and using that we can calculate the emissions to be used when you have to report your carbon footprint. So really, really a time saver for sustainability reporting going forward. E-documents, you saw a little bit of that in the payables. We're using some components of that, but we continue to invest. There's 60 countries around the world right now that mandates electronic document exchange, 20 more coming soon as well. So this is an investment we're doing both for supporting the agentic experience with payables agents and other agents, but also due to the fact that we simply have to do this from a regulatory point of view. For example, one of the investments here is send it by email. Yes, there are some countries where you haven't set up, requirements for sending it over some servers, whatever, so you need to do it via email. So of course we built that in this release. And as I've been doing this, you can also see that we've added additional capabilities with Copilot, being able to match orders better, actually also record things like item references. When you are using this system, it will record that so that Copilot doesn't have to be used for matching later. That is something that is then just looked up when the same items appear on a purchase document to be matched. Now, lot more, so I'll continue here. Manufacturing, what you probably noticed for the last couple of releases, we have taken a focus on, we started inventory, then we did service, then we did project, and we opened the hood, so to say, on manufacturing. In this release, I've done a lot of improvements there. And while you read this here, I really encourage you, those of you doing something with manufacturing, go see the BCL videos on this, because there are some really, really great time savers there. And if you're a customer watching using manufacturing, you will, for example, love that you can now block the output of production orders so that you don't produce items that you basically stop selling. That was not possible before. It's possible now. Or there are the two of those on this slide you see here, the cancel production order or the reopen. That's something that takes hours and minutes in some cases, because a lot of products have been used and it all has to be put back on stock at the right value and everything. So this is gonna be a huge time savers for people. I wouldn't say, that makes, or change their mind at some point, but that's what happens in a business. You want to change due to demand or other things, you can go in with a click a button and make that change in this release. So go look at that recording if you're doing anything with manufacturing. Now, what you will see for all the application areas in Business Central, and you also saw that in the overview slide, that we've done a lot of improvements for both the Power BI reports and then also Excel reports, including Excel layouts. And as you can see here, for example, there's a screenshot of the route planning in manufacturing, one of the reports there. So again, if you're either a customer using this system and haven't seen this, you can actually now go enable all these rich reports for whatever area you are using. And if you're a partner, you would of course not go around to any prospective customers without showing the rich report sets we now have. I'll come back a little bit to this as well later. Shopify is still, having a huge growth, both in terms of e-commerce, but also in terms of the connector to Business Central. A lot of companies are going online, selling their products online, or whether it's to customers or B2B, which is also possible with Shopify, which then demands us to respond to some of the feedback we are getting. One of the things we released recently, as you can see here, one of them is the capability, for example, to select your sales channels. You want to make sure that this product maybe goes online for sales, but other products go for the point of sale, because you can actually run both point of sales and online in a Shopify world, or other sales channels. That's now possible. There are other things we've improved here, and that's things like what is it called? It's called the meta fields. In the last release, we introduced it for products. We've now introducing it for customers. What is that? It's basically Shopify's way of enabling users to define their own fields. That's called meta fields. We have now the possibility for the customers as well to bring them into Business Central and see what rich information has been added for those fields over there. And then a lot of other great improvements. Subscription billing, we did that in the last release, and when we introduce something new, we often get some feedback, even though of course we do a lot of due diligence, a lot of research for every new feature we announce out there. But subscription billing was just released, so we got some feedback, a little bit of the terminology. We don't call it service anymore, a little bit of confusion there. It's now subscription all over, and a lot of improvements in terms of the UI and other things. The way you get onboarded to this capability as well. And as you can see here in the screenshot, of course, rich Power BI reports have been added as well. For example, in the subscription business, it's very important, as you can see here, it's with small, but to have a churn analysis. You want to know who is churning, how many are churning, what can I do to bring them back. So that's in this release as well. I already talked a little bit about this, so let's just conclude here. But there again, reports, it's in all areas, whether it's Power BI, Excel, and so on. This is a nice screenshot of one of the financial reports where you now have the possibility to easily filter, change the layouts as well, and later save them and use them in a new way. So that's available throughout the system. Talking about analysis, as you know, we introduced analysis mode several releases ago, and then lately we did, added the capability to build your analysis views with a Copilot, describing what you want to see. One of the things that we're missing, which is now, as you can see, soon coming, it's coming in one of the minor releases, is the capability of actually adding fields from related pages or everything that is related via a table. Those fields will then show up, and you can pick those as well to build your rich analysis view. Business Central and field service integration. Yes, I will keep talking, but there is a lot. I mean, you guys have been so busy, so if it's boring, you did it, man. There's so much here. Anyway, field service integration. Last release, we had the integration with projects. We were missing the service order to work order in field service. It is there now, including a ton of other improvements in this module. It's very important, of course, to have a great integration to field service, because field service frontline workers, as it says here, there's about 2 billion of those, and it's one of those areas that is late in digitalization. So by having a great integration to field service, we are basically able to tap into that great market opportunity, helping people that do frontline work with a much better experience. Because again, we will then back office wise be able to quickly invoice, help these companies get paid faster and so on by having built this integration. So go look at that video as well on BCLE if you're working with this. Last but not least, or almost last, let me say that, there's of course a lot of improvements to the user experience. And we decided that again here points to go see that full video in BCLE, but you saw some of it already. You saw the PDF viewing of attachments, no more download, open again to see, it's just there in the client. One of those I love is the resizing of fact boxes. Yes, you can do that now. It's possible. Yes. And as it says here, optimized screen estate usage. I mean, maybe, thinking, okay, what's that? It's actually now possible to see most of the labels for fields, which were previously cut off. That's been optimized. You can actually read those fields, and the user can, with a glance, quickly understand what's going on a cart page here. Love it, love it, love it. So go watch that video and see all those improvements. And if you are a user, you definitely need to go see it. And if you're a customer there, yes, that's where you will learn a lot. I want to say thank you, actually also with this slide, I want to say thank you to all you out there watching this that has helped with contributions. Contribution is contributions to the Business Central product in terms of code. We, of course, internally have several review processes of it, but we get feedback from developers out there that say, you should maybe change this or that. I've done it for you. And that's happened 159 times in this release. So thank you very much for doing that. Two final things for me. before Dimitri pulls me down from the stage here. I want to just call this out as well, AKMS BC capabilities, or you could go to businesscentral.com and then say download capability guide. It's basically expanded by 100% with this release, meaning that we are now describing every feature area of Business Central. As you can read on the slide, a lot of areas were actually not even mentioned in this guide. So they're there now, and both for you as a customer, maybe getting inspired to use other areas of Business Central, or for you partners out there that basically just want to learn about a certain area, maybe you're new to this, or for the internal team that's thinking, what are we actually doing in that area? Let me go read it. So everybody, this is, just one source of the truth of Business Central. Go read that on your holiday or whatever, This is more for partners out there, so just want to cover that quickly. There are new pitch decks lately, the Power Platform and the subscription pitch decks. That's basically where we talk about the value to you customers out there, explaining what we've done in Business Central, not only the latest, but just in any release, and talk about the value of these areas. More to come in this. That's last word for me, so I'll welcome Dimitri back on stage.
Unbelievable. Thank you, Yanni. It is unbelievable. I was watching here from the corner of the room, and it feels like you guys have built a brand new product, to be honest. So how can this even happen every release? Supply chain, manufacturing, beautiful UX, AI, reporting, analytics, just so many things. It's hard to fit it all. No wonder Yannick is out of breath, just listing these things. It's incredible. Thank you so much. Fantastic work, everyone. And I wanted to start it in another interesting area. This is the topic that we've been talking about for quite some time. The area is called flexible update management, and many of you may already know what this is about. Not every customer is the same. So there are situations where you need to accommodate for customer needs. In this context, I wanted to say that actually vast majority of our customers are migrating at the same time and the same cadence as we ship our releases. So even though we ship so much capabilities, so much features, majority of our customers stay along, stay upgraded, and move forward with the releases and get benefits of all of these improvements. But like I said, not every customer is the same. So sometimes you need to accommodate for customer requirements. Sometimes you as a partner need to prepare for the release better. You need to learn all of these fantastic capabilities yourself. You need to schedule your time with your key partner and customer, and then go and implement and update the solution, which, by the way, happens just by scheduling the update, and it happens overnight. But there's a lot of preparation and learning that needs to happen before that is a success. So we made it possible for you, for those cases where customers need it, to reschedule update. And in this beautiful animation made by yours truly, you can see how you as a partner can create, you can schedule environments to any available version of Business Central. That is a minor update and next major update, but also to the updates which are planned beyond the major version. So you have a range of multiple versions that you can select to go to specifically, depending on your readiness, depending on the customer readiness or your needs. So very, very flexible system. You can also, by the way, create new environments based on any of these versions which are available in that drop-down, which is super important for all of your cloud migration projects, for all of your testing projects, and other activities. By the way, you may have spotted a red no word on this list, and I wanted to draw your attention to this, because with all of this flexibility, there will be no opportunity and possibility and tooling. We wiped away that piece of functionality in our service. I'm almost kidding, but I'm being serious. To postpone updates beyond that point in time. So please use that extended window to get ready to upgrade, because there will be no option to postpone updates beyond that grace period. Another thing which I wanted to mention is something that we wanted to do for some time. We wanted to bring all of the extensions into exactly the same surface in the Business Central Admin Center. So now on this beautiful screenshot, and I keep telling that these are the beautiful screenshots built by this amazing team right here in the room. And not just the screenshot, the product behind the screenshots as well. So on this screenshot, you see 3 worlds joining together, the global extensions, the per tenant extensions, and dev extensions in the same view. So now you as an administrator of this environment can spot all of your extensions installed, and you can manage them with exactly the same administration API in exactly the same way. So you can list your extensions, you can uninstall your per tenant extensions and dev extensions. You can automate that with the Admin Center API. Huge improvement. Another magnificent feature which has been awaited by the partner channel for a very, very long time is your ability to scale across multiple customers. You know that in many, many cases, and we know that many of you have to manage multiple customers. So multiple environments to maintain. So how can you automate that process? How do you schedule updates in bulk? How do you, for example, change the list of recipients in bulk across all of your environments? With this release, we bring in a new endpoint, the one to rule them all. It's called Tenant Discovery Endpoint. So with this endpoint, you as a partner can find all of the tenants and all of the environments which granted access to your application to work with that environment. So very, very simple API. You can query which environments allowed you to administrate them and allow you to call this admin operations. And you can iterate through these environments and do the admin operations across tenants. Super easy. You can build a lot of automation on top of it. So very, very flexible. I can't wait to see how this API is taken by you partners. One other thing which I wanted to add is, you know that we are extremely privacy-conscious organization, privacy and security. And all data in Business Central is encrypted at multiple layers in our architecture. So it is encrypted everywhere. If I start listing the list of places where we encrypt your customer data, this will be going on until the rest of the presentation. But we added yet another layer of encryption. For those of you which need this additional layer, for example, for some of the government organizations, for some of the organizations where there is an regional requirements or government requirements to have data encrypted additionally with the key which is owned by your organization. Now this is an option. So you can bring your own managed encryption key. We will take that key and use it to encrypt your data, and just on top of all other encryption which we're doing in our service. So this is another option for you to assess. What we see happening across the world with the customer implementation is that partners spending a lot of time building reports. In our studies, up to 25% of implementation time can be spent on just tweaking and modifying the reports and the report layout. So every customer wants to have their report built in their own way. And for that, we introduced an add-on which allows you to build and customize reports using Microsoft Word, which is an amazing tool for doing just that. It's super flexible, it's open, everyone knows it. And we added with this add-on several capabilities to, for example, manage the visibility of controls on these report layouts, change the layout completely, changing fonts, doing the simple operations very, very easily. And with this report, with this release, we add in another capability for you to pick the most frequently used properties, which you would previously need to code into the object, into the actual report object. Now you can just pick these properties, such as what's the company name, when was the report last run, who was the user. You can pick it from the conveniently presented date picker, so right here, a field picker, and put them onto your report and have them running for your customers. So a lot of simplification done right there. Another area which has undergone quite a lot of interesting changes is an area which I'm sure near and dear to many of your hearts. So it's an accurate inventory evaluation. Thank you. My heart warms up as I just say this word, accurate inventory evaluation. This is a really, I'm being serious now. This is a really critical process for so many organizations out there. If you're doing cost adjustments for all of your inventory for so many transactions happening day in, day out, you need to have a reliable tool to do it in a proper way to begin with, and then to make sure that you can iterate on this and ensure the accurate entries and transactions are posted into the system. So with this release, additional capabilities were included with Business Central, which allows you, for example, to do iterative adjustments. So you can adjust your inventory period by period or even item by item. So the granularity is spectacular with this tool. You can do forced adjustments for the runs which you consider being done incorrectly. So you want to revisit these entries and force readjust these calculations. And we also helping you with a lot of insights for self-diagnostics. The tool will run through your setup, will run through the transactions, and give you hints and practical guidance what needs to be changed in order for the cost adjustment to run smoothly. This is a massive help to you partners doing support and help of your customers. It is also a massively impactful tool for the customers out there doing these cost adjustment improvements every day or every week. So thanks a lot, team. This is an amazing improvement to the product. So now we're moving into another domain of BC, developers. And I'm not going to say it 3 times. I'm just going to say it once, developers. But developers are super critical to the growth of our product. And this release was not an exception. We added so many different features and capabilities to the language, to the development environment, and to the entire ecosystem of developing code for Business Central. You see some of the features here on the list. One of them, for example, moving fields and tables between extensions is a huge help to all of you doing refactoring of your apps. So I would imagine that many of your apps need to be modernized, need to be refactored. As you grow in functionality, you want to modularize them, to make them more nimble, more accurate, fitting your business purposes. Now you have tools for that. This was available for 1 or 2 releases, I believe, for Microsoft Teams. We've enjoyed this capability so much that we decided to give it to all of you partners out there. So you're welcome. Yes. We can't wait to see all of the impact that this is going to have on the partner channel. Also, some of the absolutely critical pieces for modern development are included in this release. Ability for you to bring over your resources together with apps, package resources into the same apps where the code is presented. Easier tools for working with JSON formats and YAML. So these are practically industry standards in today's world. And many, many other interesting improvements. One thing which I wanted to bring up here, normally when we talk mocking, we prefer to blame it, like we don't like mocking. Please don't mock in general. But in this context, mocking is amazing. What you can do in this release, you can mock external services in API calls. So you can write your code which pretends to be talking to an external web service and receive all of the pre-prepared responses to make it possible to test these scenarios and build reliable solutions. This is an amazing capability for all of you test-obsessed, and we all should be test-obsessed. So now you can use it in the product, building all of the integration solutions and building tests for all of your integration solutions, which can understand many different interaction patterns in the code. Moving on, you may have noticed in Yannick's presentation that we were showing a lot of beautiful Power BI. And one of the reasons this Power BI was beautiful is because it was wrapped into an amazing canvas of Business Central. So you've seen a very slim line around the Power BI control. We've given the Power BI control all of the space it needs, but it also feels very natural in Business Central. So there's no other actions, there's no other components around this control, around this add-in control. So all of the attention is focused, and yet it is part of the Business Central experience. So this is a new page type, which you can use not only for embedding Power BI, you can use it for other control add-ins that you may have. For example, it could be super useful for POS terminals. Now there's going to be no destruction for the users, and yet it will be embedded into the beautiful user experience of BC. We also try to always optimize the productivity of developers and partners working in the combination of the web client, the development Visual Studio Code, and the GitHub repository, and whatever source control system that you may have. This release is not an exception, so we added additional capabilities for you to be productive when working in this trio. So what you can do is you can jump directly from the list of apps into the source code of these apps. So you can stamp the source code into the definition of the app and get right there into the source code, into your source code system. Very convenient. You can generate launch configurations. If you need to spin up the Visual Studio's VS Code solution and connect to this environment, sometimes it can be super tricky to set up this config file. The tool will just do it for you. It will help you in this process. You can connect the debugger. You can create, you can click, with a click of a button, get the list of all of the dependencies of a specific app, grab that list, put them into your app, and now you have the list of your dependencies defined. So all of these actions that you see on this screen will help you be much more productive as a developer or techie consultant working in this trio of products: the web client, the Visual Studio Code, and your source control system. Now let's talk a little bit about performance. Performance is top of mind for so many of us, like here in the room, and so many of us out there watching through this camera. And you may remember that in the last release, some big news hit. Like, hey, we actually refactored the way we post into warehouse entry to allow many more concurrent operations to be happening in that space. We got a lot of excitement in this space. Many customers came back and said, this is amazing. Can you push this forward? And boy, we've pushed it forward. So this is the list of other posting operations and posting tables, which were posting, tables, yes, which were refactored. The process was refactored to allow much more concurrency. So you see some of the hit records on this list: item ledger entry, value entry, and job ledger entry. There are so many critical posting transactional tables which are now unlocked for much more concurrency. You might be asking, how much more concurrency? And this is a number. So if you run one batch job with 1,000 sales invoices, you can get around 1 invoice posted per second. If you run 5 batches of 1,000 invoices, your throughput will increase to 4.7 invoices per second. So running more things in parallel will allow you to achieve much more throughput. And in the old world, the world before this release, the posting of the second batch would have to wait for the first batch to continue. Now they kick in at the same time and push much more data through Business Central. Amazing improvement. And the team asked me to put all of the asterisks around the 324 percentages, and I did, but I'm not going to talk about it. This is an amazing improvement. Yes, it differs from data to data, from database to database, but you do get a ton of more throughput through this posting refactoring. Thank you so much. Yes. In the area of performance, we investigate all of the life site incidents with all of the tickets that we get in the area of performance, and we try to improve the things which slow the product down. These are some of the examples. We made it possible to skip calculation of invisible flow fields because it makes complete sense. If the field is not visible on the page, don't calculate it when you show the page. Now it's in the product. So now the pages are much more responsive and faster to open. We made the process of copying company much faster. We made improvements for those of you troubleshooting performance as well. So now you see much more insights in our database weight statistics page and index, missing indexes page to understand which index out of several suggested by the system is good for you. Which one is going to provide the better impact at lower cost. So there's just so many interesting improvements. And not only in the tooling and troubleshooting area, also in the back end of the service. So the service in this particular release, and we've been doing it over a series of releases, investing into different layers of this architecture to make it much more performant. The NST startup is much faster. We scale in much more rapidly and much more aggressively to address these extreme peaks in demand. Our memory management has improved. Generally, the system is much leaner. It consumes less memory for its internal processes, leaving all of the memory to all of you and all of your processes. And generally, we see the much more consistent performance in our service running on version 25, which is out there in production. And I wanted to wrap it up on a very, very important point. If you manage all of your apps, and you do manage many, many apps in your system, they need to be controlled. The apps need to be managed. And for that, we do have a product called ALGo for GitHub. There were several huge improvements in this area as well. They happen continuously. So it's not release to release to release. On a continuous basis, we release new capabilities with ALGo for GitHub, with the product as well, but in this DevOps ecosystem also. And this release is not an exception. So there are several changes in security and build performance. For example, we are not rebuilding and republishing the apps which have not been changed. So your DevOps pipelines are much faster, much more efficient. You don't have to wait for your build. I'm sorry, developers out there, but you will actually have to work because waiting for your build to come is not going to be an option. But you can achieve much more with these new pipelines. We've improved the area of testability as well, so you can use page scripting tests, you can import and employ your automated tests, you can import tests into an online environment. There's just so many critical capabilities for your source control system. Please take a look at this series of videos and understand what's in the package. And also, if you're one of these very happy viewers of our monthly office hours, please continue joining these monthly office hours, which happen on Tuesday, last Tuesday every month. So join. If you are like that much caffeinated dog, like you are most welcome right there in the corner. So join, ask your questions, be there, and uptake DevOps as soon as you can. This was the high-level overview of the capabilities which 2025 Release Wave 1 brings to us. You can find all of the highlights, beautiful descriptions, screenshots on aka.ms BC release plan. We strongly encourage you to go and read through this. Please also, of course, use the beautiful opportunity to review all of the videos describing everything that we just said and more in much more detail. So wasn't that an epic release, Yannick?
It was so many things. So thank you to all in the room here for making yet another great release.
But with all of these investments, somehow I still feel that something is missing.
That is true.
I mean, I know that 50% of our investments go into security.
Yes.
Then there is a quarter of investments into everything else. True. But there's another quarter which feels missing. Like I have this strange feeling that something we haven't covered, some critical investment of our product.
Yes, what we haven't covered now is, of course, what we spend our time on. That was writing and producing the Business Central song. So let's hit it and just play it, phones out. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
You have to press again.
In the world of business, there's a shining star, a solution that's taken us far. From finance to sales, it does it all. Business Central, answering the call. With every challenge, it stands tall, helping us rise, never let us fall. Work smarter, adapt faster, perform better. Business Central, bringing us together. Work smarter, adapt faster, perform better. Business Central, we'll conquer forever. Streamlining processes, making it right. From morning till the end of the night. Inventory projects and HR too. Business Central, there's nothing you can do. With every challenge, it stands tall, helping us rise, never let us fall. Work smarter, adapt faster, perform better. Business Central, bringing us together. Work smarter, adapt faster, perform better. Business Central, we'll conquer forever. Adapt faster, perform better. Business Central, bringing us together. Work smarter, adapt faster, perform better. Business Central, we'll conquer forever.